in Major League Baseball, whose job is it to try to decode the third base coach's signs? When they give you those signs, isn't it the third base coach mainly? Is there a first base coach? There's definitely a third base. And they do all these signs, and you may think that they're going to steal a base. So, well, yeah, I guess it's the coach. The main coach is the one that tells the signaler, whoever I don't know, maybe it's the assistant coach, tells him what to tell the people. So he's like the one in charge. And then he tells everybody else, like, it's like, all right, so Elon Musk is in charge, right? Then he's the coach, their manager, then he tells the other managers what to, if he thinks that the guy on first, or whoever's on first, or what's on second, or I don't know who's on third, but who's on first, if he's going to steal the base and go to second, then what they'll do is they'll do a pitch out. Now, when you do a pitch out, you're going to sacrifice one of the downs or the plays or whatever. You're not going to throw a strike, so you're sacrificing one of your pitches to throw it outside. And if you're wrong, all right, well, then it's ball one. If you think he's going to steal again and you pitch out again, you're really taking a chance. If you misread the third base coach's signals and you pitch out again, now you're in the hole. So now you're going to be 2 balls and no strikes. However, if you get it right, well, then you have a better opportunity to throw the guy out at second base when he's trying to steal the base. He's trying to steal the base. So you're allowed to steal in baseball. Think about that. Theft. Thou shalt not steal, but yet they do anyway. What's my point? Well, the point is Jacob Israel, not just Jacob Israel, but considering at the moment he seems like he's the go-to guy on the YouTube platform. He's been up since 2008. He has, between him and Derrick Rose, I may be getting my signals mixed. Between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, I might be getting my signals mixed. Now, considering that Jacob Israel's always talking about Elon Musk and pointing to himself in a third base coach type of that's who I am, well, where does that leave Derrick at? And the reason why I sometimes leave Derrick out is because he doesn't appear as often, so I don't get that much of I can't study, the signals. And why do I even care? Well, because these people are the masters of the universe. That's why I care, because I am just some peasant ant living down here in Egypt, I've been sending out SOS signals for the past 6 years, saying, help! I know yous are listening, but when do you help? When do you help? Like, really? Jacob, how does that look? Because I've asked Jonathan Kleck, and I don't think he's going to be the one to actually do any kind of a, like, here, Robin, here's your royalty check for here they are here, because I think somebody else has that position to, and Jacob seems to be that guy that has that position right now, because considering he's been up from the beginning, his actual channel itself since 2008. I think Jonathan Kleck was up since 2011. Well, I don't think, I know. He started, I think, January, maybe even 11th. Because Harold Camping was saying that Christ is returning, and then Jonathan Kleck appears in 2011. It's no secret that he's portrayed as playing the Christ, among others, but a serious candidate for the Christ figure. And then so was Jacob. Really, Jacob's like, it's like he reminds me of Solomon, but so did Derek Bros remind me of the Solomon. But then that means who's the King David then? Because David, I got so many questions. It's just unbelievable. The King David and Bathsheba. It's like, it's such a horrible thing what he did to sleep with Bathsheba and create a little baby Solomon. But yet Solomon, and he seems to be, as far like the last king before Christ returns. Yeah, his son will take the throne, or I forget the name of him, and it keeps rolling back here. It's so annoying. Because there's always somebody that thinks they're going to do something other than what the king is doing, and then they try it, and then they fail, and then they learn, but it always seems like it's worse than what it really is, and it's such bloodshed. As David was a man of bloodshed. But it's like, nobody really lines up to the T of King David, because I don't know, when I look at the candidates, when Stephen James claims that character, I don't remember seeing him like defeating Goliath or anything like that. So maybe it's just behind the scenes, or maybe this stuff already happened way back when, before I even showed up on YouTube, and then his son Solomon takes over, and I looked at Andrew Pardon as that character. If in the beginning it was Stephen James and Andrew Pardon, but the only thing is, Andrew Pardon's not around, so it would be his other character. And I thought before, well, is that Jacob Israel, the other character? And I don't know, because when they try to steal a base, I'm that guy. I'm that guy that tries to call the play. Or, I mean, I don't call the actual plays. I'm trying to decipher what the plays are and send it to Elon. I'm trying to send it to him. So when Jacob points to himself a lot, but he also, he's not the only one that does it. People do this all the time. They point to themselves, and it's like, what? Oh, so you're saying that you're that person. But then they'll point to themselves, another person, like, wait a minute, I thought you were acting as, third base coach. So I get you. I got it. All right. Do you ever, anybody, when you're driving, something keeps rolling around? If Elon Musk is the most powerful person on the planet, And Derek Bros said at one point somebody's gonna appear, and they're gonna be the Antichrist, and it's gonna seem like they have all the power in the world, just that one person. And I think he was talking about Jacob Israel. But then it's like, what he told me he's Trump. He's not Trump. He's 52 years old. Trump is like 75. Right, well, nobody has an age because they're all like aliens, angels. They just don't have an age anymore. We're the ones that have an age down here. I'd be willing to bet that Derek Bros, that the name Derek Bros has been living from forever. I don't think at least over 10,000 years of just existing, but I don't even know how that started. But so when I flip the roles, because here's the three main people. The three main people is Elon Musk, Donald Trump, right? So it's probably like a Darius and Cyrus connection. Darius and Cyrus, King Cyrus, Trump, and then Darius, Elon, I think would be. And then, because I go by a lot of the things that Jacob's talking about, because he has shown me not only that he's in charge of what's going on right now, he has all the authority, just like Derek Bros said he would, but he's able to, well, he knows my entire life's future. He knows what I'm going to do before I do it. He talks about things I've done. He talks about things I'm going to do. He shows me stuff I'm going to see before I see it. And the proof is the X app, it happens. Just there it goes. And for those of you that have seen it, you can see it. It's unbelievable, but yet there it is. So I'm past the unbelievable part, as if it's not possible, because it is. It's there. I just don't know exactly how that happened. So it brings me to the Matrix system, where these things have already happened. We're in this dreamland type that's already been done, and I guess we got to go through it again, and then finally we wake up and it's over. The show's over. We get peace and rest, and people stop lying. And then on top of that, I retire from the job of trying to decipher the third base coach's signals. So the third important one that he was talking about was Ye. Yep, Ye. ConYe West. ConYe West, Ye. But I've connected him to Jonathan Kleck. Because you know why? I heard him talk, and he pretty much sounds the same. And Elon and so Donald Trump and Elon Musk, they're like really tight. Donald Trump lost everything, got kicked off of YouTube. Elon Musk gave him his Twitter account back, even after he created his own. He created his own platform. There's an island of Patmos, which equals Derek Bros' name, and even though he even said it's just a made-up name, I mean the last name for sure. But it's like, I don't know who anybody really is. What's your real name? But I'm sure you have many characters. Everybody has characters. And that's why it's been so confusing, because it's a, wait a minute, you're claiming to be that person, but you can't be that person, because the other person over there is that person. And then realizing that you guys are pretty slick. You have a lot of characters, and so there's a lot of characters, but only a few people playing them. And on top of that, considering that you already know my life inside and out from beginning to end, you have plenty of years to, like, you already know what I'm going to do and say. So you have all that time to prepare and make and record and be other people. You could have recorded all this stuff 1,000 years ago. And you know exactly when to play it, and it's just, the technology is mind-blowing. I didn't think it was this elaborate until I went to the art museum and I see my own footage in the videos that YouTube made 40 years ago. From that point on, I completely changed my entire mindset. I probably lost a lot of subscribers. They probably stopped watching. They're like, yeah, Rob, yeah, okay, now you're taking it too far. At first, I thought, well, maybe, but now, you two use your video. You're only 46 years old. I know. That's how long it took. That's how long it took. They were building something. It takes time to build stuff. And even if you destroy it, it's never fully destroyed. It'll just appear again and disappear and then reappear in the clouds. So Jacob said yesterday something like he gave Rumpelstiltskin or whoever was given 3 days, the woman, to get his name right, and then he disappeared. I don't want Jacob Israel to disappear, but I'm changing my mind and saying that he's Donald Trump instead of Elon Musk, and Derek Bros is Elon Musk. Because they're the two closest people, the two most important, like, high-end characters in the media. And then Jacob and Derek Bros are obviously the two closest to each other than, say, Donut and Derek, or AMTV and Donut, or Jonathan Kleck and whoever. Those two seem to be the number 1 and 2 punch. And also, Derek Bros says that he loves me, and because I've tried to figure him out, and I'm still trying to figure him out, and he's not even really appearing often, but you don't let, when you know people run the planet system, I mean, I don't know, I just want to be their buds, really. I want to be like Zaybud. It's not like I'm asking for a handout or mooching off the king. I'm doing work that it's unseen, and just the fact that I keep on it and I'm not getting paid for it, and there's no real confirmation that I'm even on the right track. It's just a spirit-led initiative. I'm inspired by the spirit of figuring out the third base coach's signals, because I know that at some point it's like this. All the people that have been taken care of, all the millionaires and billionaires, but they've always did something in order to get that millions and billions of dollars. I'm not ever going to do that thing to get anything. So if I don't get anything after this is done, everybody just disappears, well, then I've already accepted the fact that I'm going to work until the day I die. I'm going to be tired. Life sucks. It sucks when you are tired and you just have to work for a living until you die. So to think from the beginning of creation of whatever we're in, that's been the case. Everybody has to do that. They suffer. This is a place of suffer and torment. it has to be hell. It can't be anything else other than that. Because heaven's not, nobody's working up there. Nobody's tired, and because you're not in the flesh anymore. The kingdom of heaven doesn't inherit flesh and blood. It's not like you don't look like a human, but you don't have flesh and blood. You don't have the weakness that we have here. Now, this could all just be a simulation dreamland. Incapacitated chip babies from birth. We're just plugged in, and we don't even know it. We get taken out of the womb, we get plugged in, and we know nothing until we wake up. So, but then where does that leave Stephen James DeShawn at? Because he's like the first beast with the wounded head, and for some reason it just seems like he is actually Jacob Israel behind the mask. It's not Derek Bros, it's not Jonathan Click, it's the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And then the second beast comes up, causing all those to worship the first. So, and then that goes in a few different interpretations that it could be. Because it could be Christ himself, the first beast, rising up from the sea, because they said, the author could be writing it as they are saying he's speaking blasphemous and proud and arrogant words, because he knows what others don't know. So they're going to accuse him of being blasphemous because he had a wounded head, but then he did live. And then the second beast comes up with two horns like a lamb, and he causes all those to worship Christ, the first beast. So the second one coming up is like, well, you know how Jacob Israel has two horns like a lamb. He could have two witnesses. It could be two witnesses, or he could have two horns just like symbolizing he looks like a lamb, but he's really a dragon. He speaks like a dragon. You got to get the only way anything's going to change is if you get Satan himself to cause everybody to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. Or it's Christ as the second beast. He has two horns like a lamb, and he speaks like a dragon. And he causes all those to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And then considering Stephen James came up first, and it's like being beheaded, getting the beheading like the Baptist, like John the Baptist, and then causing all those to worship the first beast because, well, his deadly wound was healed. Christ now resides in his heart, at his position, the highest position that he's at. So that goes along with Jacob Israel. Could be acting as like the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit all in one. The reason why I say that is because Stephen James isn't just sitting there at Heron Road with some homeless people all this time, just waiting around for, I don't even know what he's waiting for. What are you supposed to be waiting for? Because he's too busy being Jacob Israel. That's where I'm getting at. And so the three amigos. It's either or. I got to come to my final answer. Whoever anybody else is besides Jonathan Clegg, Derek Bros, and Jacob Israel. It's like Stephen James could be either one of those. He could be either one of those three that I just mentioned, because Jonathan Clegg channel has two twins. There's the good and evil side of that channel, or the truth and lies of the government is on that channel. And Elon, L. So L, he would be considered L, or at taking the place, or sitting in the seat of L. Now I know Jonathan Click absolutely. The reason why it's suspect is because it's too easy to think that, well, if you're pointing to yourself so much about being Satan, about being Lucifer, but yet you're more like Moses, putting on the headdress of the Pharaoh. Moses wasn't Satan. He was, God made him a god to Pharaoh. Because that's why Pharaoh said to his Lord, tell your God I am sorry. Or, paraphrasing. Which means, he's like, my Lord, tell your God I'm sorry. So Moses was like Pharaoh's Lord. He was like a god to him. And then Moses' God was Jesus in the spirit in the Old Testament. So tell Jesus I'm sorry, is what, in other words, what he said. Because Christ was saying, hey, Paul, or Saul, why are you persecuting me? And it seems like he was talking to Pharaoh. And then Pharaoh, he had to go through all the... And then, because Pharaoh was like Elon Musk. And considering what Derek Bros said a long time, it was just that one thing he said that stuck. It's like, there's going to be one person that rises up as the Antichrist. And it's going to look like he has all the power. Because I believe that you put him there. So as the Pharaoh, having all that power, as Elon Musk, here I am, trying to decipher the third base coach signs. I may get them wrong, but at least I try. I may get it wrong 4 times in a row and walk somebody. You may get walked just because I'll take a chance. I'll risk it. Because at some point there has to be a reward for this, because according to what we're told, there's like 7-8 billion people on the planet. How can you possibly find Elon Musk, who he really is, on the YouTube platform? Behind a mask, behind a different name, different voice, different position. How can you possibly find these people? But the Spirit of God has to lead you in that direction. It has to be led by God, and then once that happens, then, all right, well, there it is. That person over there is being led by God, and he got it right. Pilate, Barabbas, and Judas, and Herod. King Herod, hair red. Hairy, hair red. I thought, well, it sounds like the Jonathan Click that wants my head chopped off. It sounds like that one, the hair red. And Herod would be up there, like where the art museum is, up on the hill. And then Jerusalem, Israel, and Pilate is down at the bottom, because there was an airplane that was down there. It was only one airplane, and airplane pilot, same thing, down in the Israel side of the William Penn building. And Will I Am is down there. So from from east to west and all in between, that's where it seems like the whole Bible is being played out in the Philadelphia landscape. And all types of unusual things have happened that I have recorded evidence, documented evidence of people showing me. I press the X app, I start walking, and there it goes. I'm seeing what they're talking about as I'm live, and they're pre-recorded, and I haven't watched their video yet. It happened there. It happened at the bottom, Israel, the flag, the sinkhole, Steve Bannon. It happened up at the top with Bono and the art museum, and it happened with Jacob Israel beforehand, showing me that it's just a non-stop happening, unusual circumstances that take place in my life through the YouTube medium platform, connecting with these witches and the witchcraft. Why are you trying to figure out about the living from the dead, Robin? Huh? Why don't you go ask your God? Well, my God said, go talk to the witches. They're going to let you know. So then I always try to figure out the Lord God, who's playing that, who's playing Satan, who's playing all the characters. Well, Steve Bannon plays a good Lord God, and the Christ as being risen. He shows his hands a lot. It looks like he had nail holes through his hands, but it could just be, like the dog scratching on him or something. Not that any of you are really in your actual bodies, that you're all wearing masks and suits, and I could tell because sometimes faces just don't move as normally as an actual face does. And then, well, Stephen James plays a good Satan because he accused me day and night. So he fulfilled that role. But for the person to be in charge of everything, it seems like that's Derek Rose. It seems like he's just behind the scenes waiting. He's busy running the planet, even though it's already been done before, but I'm living in it now. And so then his son, his child, or it could be Solomon as the David. It's so weird how everybody can, it's like you can be the Christ figure, but you can also be playing Satan at the same time. It's like, it's so similar because that's what it is. Like, Satan is so slick. He's wiser than Daniel. And it just seems like with one tweak, you can be another character. But anyway, Stephen James is playing a good David role with the being frail at his old age, but not really old, but being like attacked, but really that's like how I feel. I feel like when I'm 70, it's gonna be tough. That's my back injury, my legitimate back injury. I probably legitimately have ankle spinalotus or whatever, ankle-loaded spinal cord something or other Jacob's talking about, because I don't think Jacob has any pain, because I think he's like I think what you are, Jacob, is a created superhuman angel, demon, and you're more of a robot, Neuralink type of a genius, just like Derek is. And I don't think you actually have any pain going on, because I think you already, or even if you were human at one point, you already passed through. Because right after I had my kid, 9 months later, it's like I got attacked. I'm pretty sure I got gang stalked. And there was something going on where my ankles swole up, my arms, my wrist, my fingers, my back hurt so bad. It's when I tried to take anti-inflammatories, and it barely did anything. It used to take me 5 minutes to get up and get ready to work. It took 45 minutes to move around. I was so hurting, and thought maybe it was Lyme disease. I didn't have insurance, so I didn't check it out. But it was like 9 months, and I'm pretty sure it was a gang stalking tactic somehow. But I legitimately have thing. When I say whatever, I'm telling you the truth. And those of you that can see me 24/7, you know that it's true. Now, I don't always give the truthful, like whatever I'm saying is true in my mind, but it may not be the truth as to who is who, like, Derek and Jacob and everybody. But I really want to figure it out so bad. I just want to be right and address the people correctly. Because either way, the wounded head, I had already said the same thing. I agreed with Jacob Israel before Donald Trump, before the election. I agreed and said Trump's going to lose, and it's going to be a wounded head. His head will be wounded by handling losing. But don't worry, he'll come back. I just thought he would come back sooner. I said 3.5 days, I think, or 3 days, which is really 4 years, because 3 days and 3 nights is like a day as a year. It's 4 years. So he'll be back, and he will be back. But he could be back, and then 3.5 days later, he gets assassinated, and then there goes the wounded head. It could play that all over again, but it already happened. It happened in spirit first, because Stephen James DeShawn, I had looked at him as Donald Trump before. I never thought he was Joe Biden. He doesn't have the personality for it. He doesn't have the personality for Barack Obama. He has the personality of Donald Trump. And then Jacob Israel is like the second beast. He's definitely the beast. I've concluded Jacob Israel is the beast in Revelation. He's the one that the woman, the harlot, he's the one that the harlot rode on, the system, riding the beast. It also has a host body meaning too, like the woman, the beast system is the male turned to female, tree of life inverted. Now you're riding, the beast. You're riding your own beast. But the beast system itself, it looks like Jacob's in control of that one, along with Derek Bros. So Donald Trump and Elon Musk, King Cyrus and King Darius, and guess who prospered in the reign of both of them? Yep. So that leaves Jonathan Kleck as the harlot that was judged, because the false prophet, the beast, the false prophet, the dragon. So the dragon, Derek Bros, the beast, Jacob Israel, and the false prophet, Jonathan Kleck. They're all three thrown alive in a lake of fire, and they burn with the word of with the fire. The fire is the word of God. So they burn with that word. As it seems like a negative thing, but it's just being judged correctly, and then changing your mindset as to how you're doing it. So can you imagine if I actually found the three? Can you imagine that? but uh, the Stephen James character, I can see Jacob Israel being that. I can also see Jacob Israel as being Bugs Bunny. He has that personality. Bugs likes to tip the cup. Same thing with Jacob. He's like a prankster, jokester, troller. So can you imagine if I actually found those three? What would that mean for me? That I just keep living my life and going back and forth to work every day for the rest of my life, and then I just die tired? That wouldn't be fair. That would just mean God doesn't exist. If I had it right, and it would just show that he has no power. Because how do you get it right and you don't live like a king? So at some point, that's just the way it should be. So I have to conclude my final answers. Now, I've juxtapositions plenty of times before, but that's how I get the final answers, by just, all right, well, here it is. This is what it is. Am I right? Jacob Israel, am I right? Did I get it right? Mr. Beast, he is now straight in your face in 7-Eleven. And it just shows how at the flick of just a snap of the finger, anybody can be raised up and just put on front page, can be put at the front desk, can just be taken from the back and exalted because they were humbled and stayed in the back and waited to be exalted. So Mr. Beast with the thumbs up looks just like one of Jacob Israel's characters, if not like a kid, one of his sons or something. And he's right there. He's just right there at the front counter with his candy bars as the Beast. So I got to conclude Jacob Israel is the Beast system. And the dragon is Derek Brose. Derek Brose. Now I've juxtapositioned saying, maybe it's Jonathan Clegg. Well, I'm going to have to think more along the lines, he's more like Moses and Aaron, the Jonathan Clegg channel, the two. At least one of them is Moses, maybe Steve Benoon is the Aaron. Or, juxtose positions there. Because nobody's really, they're not going to tell you who they are. Although they will, but not directly. Because the false prophet would be Barabbas, who was picked. And then Judas, I believe, would be the beast system. So that would be Bono, because he was washed up on an empty beach. But it could be Edge. I'm not certain with my final answers there, because when I went to the boardwalk, I met Christopher Greenway, Boardwalk Morning Star, Jonathan Clegg. So behind that mask, but there's 3 unclean frogs, and it could be 3 people all together, and it could be all 3 of you just bouncing around. It's like, all right, so here's the deal. We're going to have the Jonathan Clegg channel. And in the Jonathan Clegg channel, all 3 of us, Joel Karim, Steve Chen, and Chad Hurley, we're all going to be in there. We're all going to sound the same. We're going to look the same, but we're going to have 3 different rivers. Just like Logan Square, the dead center, there's 2 females and 1 male. Although it could be 2 changed from male to female, and then the 1 male staying that way. And then we'll branch off. Each one of us will have our own channel. And then it's, if somebody can figure it out, that person is set for life, and he must have the Spirit of God living in him. Because the reason why it makes sense that Jacob Israel is the beast in Revelation, amongst just, simply going 7-Eleven, it looks like him, it's thumbs up, beast, candy bars, D's nuts. I mean, that's Jacob Israel's personality right there. Bugs Bunny, Bugs, Jamie the Wabbit. Ah, man, You've been good to me over the years, Jamie, because you tested my stomach like no other. Like, you're like the top military commander in charge of trolling people and putting them to the test. Jacob Israel. But it's like, to me, Stephen James is the same exact. So it could be a father-son duo, or it could just be one person, the beast that had a wounded head, rising up from the sea, wounded head, and then the second one caused all those to worship the first one because it's the same person in that scenario. But man, I was at the shore, standing on the sand of the seashore. I seen a beast rise up from the sea because I was shown a piece of glass that was left there on the beach. It was an accident waiting to happen. In order to fulfill the second portion of the video of who's going to ride my wild horses. And you know what? That's exactly what it is too. I know it might sound absolutely ridiculous, but it's not, because it's true. I produced both portions of the video for that one song within a couple month period. First with the horse farm, second with the beach. Everything lined up. Bono's even riding the roller coaster, leaning down to the side. He's following in the same direction. He's hopping on my horse. He's turning around the corner again. It's who's going to drown near a blue sea. It shows a blue sea net. Then I go to the beach. There's the piece of glass. It's on the sea. It's a roller coaster ride. It's in wild wood, wild horses. Nibbles Woodaway, Morning Star, Christopher Greenway Boardwalk. And I met Jacob Israel there and Jonathan Clegg. I met Ye and Trump at the boardwalk in Wildwood and turned Will Smith into spaghetti. And all I do is I catch. So that makes sense that I saw a beast rise up from the sea who had a deadly wound, and his wound was healed. And the second beast had two horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon and was causing all those to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. It was healed. That's why. And then in the end, I was saying this to my wife because she has like a mark on her forehead. She had to get she had skin cancer and they had to like peel it out. I said, so you finally accepted the mark of the beast, huh? Shut up. What, honey? Look, just understand this. I have the legitimate mark on my forehead. You're not going to be able to buy or sell. Everybody else was tricked into getting the mark thinking it's the holy place being sealed, like the 144,000. I mean, it's all by design, but the thing is that here's what would cause great fear is your eyes start to open up. You start to see what I'm showing you in the clouds, footage from years ago that was used in music videos that I just produced a couple months ago. You see it. You're part of the organization. You were told one thing, but you're seeing me do exactly what you were told somebody else or whatever was supposed to do. You follow me around. You know, you're like boldly there, a stalker. You follow me around everywhere I go. You know that I don't talk to anybody besides myself. And, you know, my wife, I have a lot of conversations with her. But I'm basically talking out loud, you know, for everybody to hear. When I talk to her, I just assume Jacob's watching me through her eyes and hearing me through her ears or wherever. Not just Jacob, but because he's the beast in charge. I seen him rise up from the sea when I was down at the Wildwood, because when he showed me getting in the boat and get out of the boat and and getting in the ark at 2:58 p.m. And then he showed me Will Smith wrapped in spaghetti as I'm walking by a spaghetti of rails. That's a beast rising up from among the sea. And he's also in NASA. He's also Alex Jones. NASA, wearing a NASA shirt. And Nassau, where the Bahamas is in that area, with the thumbs up, the big thumbs up, that's Jacob Israel. So, and that's also at Dolphin with Joseph. Remember Joseph? So he's like Joseph in this script. And the Pharaoh, I believe, would be Derek Bros. And so, because he's second in charge. He's second in charge next to Derek. And, but like in place of kind of like Judas at the same time with the 12 apostles or 12 disciples. And then so that would mean Derek Bros would be the dragon, Satan. Satan entered into Judas, and Satan was the one that entered into Judas. And then the Lord God representing as Stephen Ben Nun, but also Jonathan Kleck makes a good candidate for that, but makes a better candidate for Barabbas. Because Jacob Israel was talking about Barabbas while I was down the shore as he's rising up from the sea. And then along with, at the same time, you have the beast rising up from the sea that I saw as I was standing on it, the sand of the seashore. Because I was standing on the sand of the seashore. I saw a beast rise up from the sea. His name is Jacob Israel. He showed me his wrapped in spaghetti. Then I saw another beast, another one, which had two horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. And that's Jonathan Kleck. So, and then seeing the table BAR and RAB backwards, bar rab, and me and my wife were sitting there eating dinner. I mean, eating lunch at the Wildwood Seaport Nibbles Woodaway. Ah, man, it's all connecting together. At least in my head it is. I hope I'm right. Because it feels good to think that I'm pretty much on the right track, revealing the book of Revelation, literally revealing it, showing you that these are the people in charge, and they've been given authority to rule this entire planet.